Mrs. Normal.
Thank you, Ms. Burney. Good evening, parents and friends, and welcome to our Parent Empowerment Session. On
Good
behalf
evening.
of the I'm a Star Foundation, you can see the backdrop on your screen, which shows you the acronym for I'm a Star, smart, talented, and resilient. This is the foundation that focuses on the star power in your children. And so, on behalf of the I'm a Star Foundation and the Duval County Public Schools, we just want to thank you for tuning in with us this evening. This promises to be a very exciting evening for you as you learn information that I'm sure will empower you to empower your students to become even better students. We're going to begin tonight's session with a very positive and powerful video. This video focuses on parenting. And this video is going to be presented to us by the person who is responsible for founding the I'm a Star Foundation. She is the founder and the CEO of the I'm a Star Foundation. And she's going to present this video to you, Mrs. Betty Seabrook Burney. Ms. Burney.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I'm so happy to see the parents that we have. The video that you will see is a remarkable video because it just talks about parenting, good parenting. And once you take a look at the video, I would love it once the video is over, just to tell me what captured your thoughts after watching this video. So, Ms. Jones, we're ready.
A great parent is not the one who gives the most money, not the one who gives the most toys, not the one who gives the best place to live. A great parent is the one who gives attention. To be a great parent, all you need to do is be present with your child. Not give presents, be present. That's all kids really want. They want you to notice them, to be loved, to be wanted. The best parent is the one whose eyes light up when their child enters the room. The parent who makes a promise to love unconditionally. The parent who leads by example, not by what you say, but by what you do. Kids will never pay attention to your words. They will always and only pay attention to your actions and your intentions. A great parent works on themselves. A great parent makes their own mind strong, knowing their kids will likely follow in their footsteps. Heal yourself. Make your own mind strong so your children can see the clearest example of what a great life looks like. Setting a clear and strong example of what type of human being you want your kids to become starts with you. It's up to you to set the example of kindness and compassion toward others, to set the example of what it is like to be yourself, to set the example of living a magical life that you choose. That's what a great parent does. Set their child free. Allow them to be themselves. Allow them to make their own decisions. Live your life in such a way that when your kids think of kindness, compassion, strength, authenticity, and real joy, they think of you. A great parent knows not to allow anything in their life they don't want their children to reproduce in their lives. That includes toxic relationships. That includes bad habits. That includes making decisions based on fear. A great parent listens. They don't lecture. A great parent supports, never shames. A great parent guides and sets free. Being a parent is not a job. It's a privilege. Being a parent is not a burden. It's a blessing. They are always watching. What kind of role model will you be for your children?
No matter how many times I see that video, I get so much from it. And I just want to, we have parents, Mr. Middleton, we have Mr. Hill. What did you think about that video? What is something that jumped out at you when you saw the video?
Well, as a whole, just being an example, setting forth the effort to not let life stress overtake you because you know your child is always.
All right,
Excellent.
I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Very good. Mr. Swain, Mr. Hill, can you tell us what you thought with regards to seeing the video?
I like the part about kids, you know, they watch what you do rather than what you say. I believe that the greatest gift that you know you can have is give a kid the time. So and that's my kid Tyree Swain that just popped up. So
Okay,
yeah, he's at his mom. So that's my baby.
awesome. Very good. Very good. My favorite piece on that is where it says a good parent works on themselves. And so we got to always remember that even though our children are under construction, so are we as parents. And we work on ourselves. And I love the fact that you're working on yourselves this evening because an informed parent is an empowered parent, and you're becoming more informed. And I just thank you for what you do. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Norman.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Burney. Ms. Burney is the source of inspiration for so many students in this Jacksonville community. And so, as she said, she wanted to motivate you through this video because certainly it says so much to us. We thank you for being a great parent simply because you have given your child your attention by being here this evening. Once again, we want to welcome all on behalf of the I'm a Star Foundation and the Duval County Public Schools. But we want to extend special greetings to our special guest this evening, and that will be our parents from Hope Caroline Middle School. Not middle school, high school. You'll be at the middle school, so you'll walk across the street to that middle school. But right now, we want to welcome those of you from Hope Caroline Elementary School. Be sure that you've signed in, so as Ms. Burney has said, so that you can get credit for being here so that you can compete for in our drawing tonight for that gift card. As we said before, we want to empower you but by providing you with some information that we hope will assist you in helping your child to reach their potential. Before we get into that, we're going to do just a little bit to help you work on yourself. You do so much to become the parent that you've become. And we know that parenting is a difficult task in itself. So right now, we're going to have our STAR mentoring coordinator, the one who coordinates our elementary mentoring program, Miss Victoria Perry, who's going to come before you and give you a few tips just to help yourself. Okay, Miss Perry.
Thank you, Ms. Norman. I really appreciate it. To the parents, thank you for joining. I do have a few parents who said that they're at work, so I'm just kind of texting them as well. And some are watching on YouTube, so thank you for that. So I just wanted to share a couple of tips with you guys all on how to relax, to release stress during this pandemic time that we're in. We have children in school, we're going to work, and we're just trying to figure everything out. So just a couple of things I want to talk about today is just to simply rest and relax. Those are the two key things I believe we can do for ourselves to replenish ourselves and to give ourselves energy. It'll help our attitude. It'll also help our productivity as well if we just rest and relax. Also, turn your phone off, like just for an hour a day, maybe not an hour, maybe 30 minutes. Some people can't do an hour. We can work on increments, maybe 10, 15, and move up to an hour. But turn your phone off for a little bit to just let your mind just be free and to just wonder and not be focused on the next and how to figure out everything. Another thing during this pandemic, we have to learn to release the things that we cannot control. So we can't control the pandemic. We can't control what happened, but what we can do is wear our masks, make sure we're washing our hands and socially distancing, because we don't know how this is going to turn out. We're just living in this time all together. So what we can do is just follow the rules and do the best that we can. But I can't stress enough the importance of resting and relaxing, because sometimes our mind continues to run rampant so much, and then we have a burnout and we can't do anything with the burnout. We can't help our children. We can't function with our jobs, and we need those things to help our kids. We have to go to work, so we don't want to be burned out at work. We don't want to catch an attitude at work and lose our job or anything like that. So rest and relaxing are the key to just, keeping yourself together and making sure that you are an effective parent to help your student out in any way possible. So I hope those can help. If you, what I can do is I can send those tips back to you, or you can take a picture of the screen to write some things down that you guys could do just to relax and just rest. And so I hope those help you all.
Thank you so much, Ms. Perry. Certainly that was very helpful. And you'll be seeing quite a bit of Ms. Perry, and you'll be hearing quite a bit from Ms. Perry. She is your STAR Mentoring Coordinator. Thank you so much, Ms. Perry. And now, as we move right on along, we're going to present to you now the focus of this evening's parent session. And it is focusing on survival, the beginner's guide to exploration. And this intriguing session will be presented to you by Ms. Dawson Jones, who is our Student Success Coordinator for BTS High School. And she is the STAR Mentoring Coordinator for our middle school. She also has another title, which she'll throw in there when she begins, because she does so much. So certainly we're looking forward to this exciting presentation. So please welcome Ms. Dawson Jones, who will present this session.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Norman. Good evening, parents. Good evening, Fort Caroline. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As Ms. Norman mentioned, I'm the mentoring coordinator for the middle schools, so I don't get a chance to really interact with the elementary school babies as much, but I do get to see some of their faces and meet you parents on the parent nights. So I also work with the high school kids with Duval County with college and career readiness. So some of my tips that I present, even for the elementary school kids, go all the way across the board. So I hope everybody is able to get something tonight. And as Ms. Perry mentioned, these are new times for everybody. So we're navigating this together. In the beginning, that video that you saw about a great parent, one of the things that always stands out to me is that a great parent leads by example, right? So one of the things that our kids pick up from us is our organizational skills. If they see us all over the place and running around trying to get things done, they're going to think that's normal, or they're going to pick up their habits from us. So what I'm going to present to you tonight is a parent's survival guide to exploration as it pertains to not just the pandemic. A lot of these tips, are pandemic friendly, but it's mostly what you can do throughout the year. And the sooner you implement most of these tips, the better. Even though it's about to be a new semester, we're about to approach the springtime, all these things still apply. They still work. And then you can get a jump start on the next year when it comes to some of these. So here is your beginner's guide. And all of these, well, some of the items that I'm going to mention tonight, your child will get a chance to pick them up. So when you see them come home with this bag later on this week, you can apply the knowledge that I give you tonight with the things that are in your bag. My bag is a little bit more full because I put all my junk in it. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So with any explorer or any good person who's trekking into uncharted territory, you're gonna need a roadmap. I was born and raised in Jacksonville. However, without my GPS, I could not tell you anywhere to go. Unless you say, hey, it's near that Chick-fil-A on the corner of the Applebee's across the street from the Popeyes, I'm not gonna know where it is. So I need my GPS wherever I go. So your roadmap as it comes to parenting is your school information. All right. A lot of the times when we interact with parents, we do it via phone call. And because we are in the times of COVID, sending home flyers just isn't a thing that schools do anymore. So what you want to make sure you do is update your contact information.
Oh man.
All it takes is a quick phone call to the school, talk to whoever's in the front office. I know they don't do the blue cards anymore, but please make sure your information is updated. Make sure they have a good number for you, a good working number, and make sure they have a correct email address on file, because you don't want to miss anything just because they spelled your name wrong in your email or confused two of the numbers in your phone number. So just a quick call, make sure all your information is correct. Another thing for your roadmap, and one thing that you'll get in the survival kit, is a notepad of some sort. All right, a small notepad just to have on hand as a parent helps so much. If there are more than 2 things that I need from the grocery store, you better believe I have a list. I love writing lists for anything. And you can do this at home with your child too. Write a list of goals for the week. Write a list of the assignments that are due that night. And the great thing about writing a list is you get to check it off. One thing that I do, and it's a motivational tool too, I put stuff on my list that I've already done just so I can check it off and be like, oh, all right, I already got 2 things on my list done. I feel accomplished. So you can do that with your child as well. And another thing that Ms. Perry mentioned, have some you time. So what you can do with your memo pad is write down some things that you're thankful for. All right, we all need family time. We can do different activities together. Have your child start making lists too, because one thing that making a list does, it helps them be organized. It also helps them with spelling. It also helps them with their handwriting. So penmanship is really good too, because the schools don't teach cursive anymore, but we do need, and more things are being typed and on the computer, but we still need to have a good handwriting. The holidays are coming up. So that means kids want the latest PS5, the Xbox, and all the different new toys. So guess what? They got to write a list, right? Well, if I can't,
not really.
if I can't read your handwriting, you're not going to get nothing on that list, right? So it's a good motivational tool to use for your kids, and it helps keep them organized. The other thing you can do with your memo pad is set a schedule. I know it's hard because even I don't stick to the schedule, but at least if you have the framework for it, if you just try, like Ms. Perry said, again, do it in increments, try baby steps first, but have a set schedule so your kid can get in the routine of doing things. One thing that's on my daughter's schedule, she knows as soon as we get home, she got to go take a bath because she has to get out of those clothes because they've been germy all day. Get the clothes off, take a shower, and then work on your homework. One thing that I do in middle school mentoring, and they don't like this piece of advice, but once I explain it, they're like, that makes sense. Do your homework as soon as you get home. They might be like, well, no, I want to relax. I want to play the game a little bit. I want to watch some Netflix. No, don't do that. Because if your school ends at 3:00, you get home at 3:30. That information isn't even an hour old that your teacher just left you with. When you do your homework first, you're going to do it more correct because that information is still fresh, and you're going to do it faster. If you come home, watch 2 shows on TV, play a couple rounds on Fortnite or whatever it is, that's an hour's worth of information that they're going to have to flip through the book and find the answers now. They got to ask, Ma, Daddy, I don't understand. Well, if you came home and did your homework first, you would probably remember the information that your teacher just said not even an hour ago. So do the homework first. So on my schedule, maybe quick shower, homework. All right. Also on your schedule, put in some family time or some me time. Have a time set aside where everybody can just chill, relax, turn off the phones, turn off the news, and just relax and enjoy each other's company. Children are more likely to say, well, hey, Dad, my day was awesome, or my day wasn't so well. They're more likely to open up to you once you carve aside that piece of time where they can do that. And the more and more you do it, the more it becomes routine. The next thing you need is a compass. My map makes no sense if I have a map and I don't know my directionals. If I don't know up from down, north from south, left from right, it's not going to make any sense. All right. So in conjunction with making sure you have your memo pad, with making sure the school has all your information, have a planner. Right. I'm not sure if we're going to put pocket planners in the survival bag this time, but even if we don't, everybody has one of these. And if I can find mine, here it is. There we go, the phone. There is a calendar app on your phone. And if the child isn't old enough to have a phone, I'm pretty sure they got one of these, a tablet. There is a calendar app on your tablet. What you can do is set reminders for something. If you know, or if they know they have a test coming up on Friday, tonight is Tuesday, you still have Wednesday and Thursday to study. You can set a reminder for a day ahead, 2 days ahead, 3 days ahead, an hour before, what have you, so they won't be caught off guard. With a planner, I'm a visual learner, so I need like a big old giant calendar in front of my face at all times so I can see it. I keep my calendar with me all the time, and it's just like a compass. If I lose my compass, I lose my way. If I lose my planner, I couldn't tell you what is on my schedule tomorrow if I were to lose my planner. The good thing about keeping a planner is that not only can you keep one, your child can get in the habit of keeping one too. I'm not sure if they still do the agendas in elementary school, but I felt like that was the greatest thing on earth since sliced bread when the elementary school babies had their agendas, because it taught them early how to keep track of stuff. They wrote down their homework, they could write down what assignments are due, and it's all in their agenda. But if you don't use it, it's not going to do you any good. So how do we get a child to use a planner or an agenda? Color coordinate it, personalize it. If you stick anything on the shelf in gold, pink, or green, and you put my initial on it, guess what? I'm gonna buy it. You're gonna have all my money, because I love things that are personalized. So get their favorite character, get their favorite color. When I put, even my little clips on here are gold. Gold is my favorite color, so I make sure I put a lot of gold in there. I color coordinate everything. I have blue, I have red, I have black. You can give them a new set of markers if that helps. So whatever works for your child, figure out what their learning style is. Figure out if they're a visual learner, so they can put different sticky notes in here, stickers, whatever works for your child. Also, another thing that acts as your compass is your child's focus account. Every parent also has a focus account. If you go to duval.org, you can set up a parent focus account as well. If you're not sure how to do that, if you say, well, I'm not really computer savvy, that's okay. Your child has a focus account and they can walk you through it. You can get on theirs and see their schedule, their grades, and it gives you a direct link to their teachers. So that way, if you ever need to contact the teacher, or if those grades are slipping, all you have to do is click that teacher's name and it takes you directly to their email address. So you can contact that teacher at any time. So please make sure you're checking the child's focus, because their grades are supposed to be updated every week. So nothing should catch anybody off guard. The next thing that is COVID specific is your protective gear. In your survival bags, you're gonna get a mask, all right? So make sure your child goes to school with a mask. These masks right here are the simple ones. These are disposable. So make sure that your child is not wearing this more than one day. All right, these are the kind you toss out. All right, they even come in different sizes. They're so cute. They have, you can get the kind that has Disney characters. These kinds come in pink, purple. I've seen them in black and white. So you can buy whatever color your child wants if that's what's going to help them keep the mask on their face. The cloth masks, however, those are not disposable, but you do have to make sure you wash those. And speaking of washing, y'all got to make sure we wash our hands. Make sure you give your child a little bottle of hand sanitizer to go in either their pockets or their book bag, so that we can all be germ free. And make sure you practice with them social distancing techniques, even when it comes to their friends, because you never know, asymptomatic people are a thing. So make sure you explain to your child what all that means. Just because I'm not coughing doesn't mean I can't potentially be a carrier. All right, so that's very important. The next thing in my pack is a first aid kit. Whenever you go exploring, whether it's a hike in the woods or going fishing, you always got to make sure you have a first aid kit, right? Just in case, you accidentally trip and fall, you scrape up your knee, got to have some Band-Aids. Well, Band-Aids for a parent survival kit is a little bit different. My Band-Aids come in the form of motivation. All right, so right here in your bag, when you get them later on this week, you might have some candy in there. All right, all different types of goodies, so that when you write down your goals on your notepad, and you accomplish them, you get rewarded for it. Now, rewards don't always have to be candy. It doesn't always have to be food. I love food. So every time I get something good done, I reward myself with like my favorite meal or maybe a treat for myself. But it can be something as simple as doing a family project together, making your wish list together. Everybody gets these sales papers in the mail usually. Let your kid go through them, circle some stuff they might want. All right. You can always use this as a learning tool too. So if you tell them, oh, okay, go in the sales papers, find the snacks you want. If I get the Harvey's one or if I get the Publix one, go ahead, circle your snacks. All right. Well, after you circle those snacks, I want you to take your notepad and write down how much those snacks cost. And then I want you to add them all up and see how much money all your snacks are going to be. And then you can say, well, do you have snack money in your allowance? Or if you want that snack money, guess what you got to do? You got to bring me home those grades, those good grades. All right. So make it fun, make it motivational, and make them have some sort of responsibility when it comes to getting those things done that are on their list. Another thing that we have to do as parents is to make sure we're not always tearing down. So if they do bring home the grade that's less than satisfactory, instead of saying, well, oh, you know, you shouldn't have brought that home. Well, yeah, they know that, but let's see what we can do better next time to make it work. Do we need to set an alarm? Do we need to put it in our calendar? Do we need to write down the things that you're struggling with? So make sure you're asking your child, well, okay, well, what did you miss on the test? What else can we do? Do we need to act it out? Do we need to be more hands-on? Do we need to start writing our notes over because you're a visual learner? Do I need to get you some pens, some cool colors for you to write it in? Figure out what works for your child and figure out different strategies that you can use. So don't always tear down and nag about the bad grades. Bad grades are bad grades, but we have to make sure we do what we can to bring those grades up with our child. And of course, you have your adventurers pack. Every good adventure has a supply pack, right? So that means we have to make sure our children come to school prepared. The analogy that I gave my middle school kids last week was, what happens if you're an adult now, you're on somebody's job, you go to a staff meeting, and you don't bring anything to that staff meeting but yourself and a smile. And your boss is asking for your reports, different things, and you don't have anything. What's gonna happen? All the kids is like, you're gonna get fired. Yeah, you're not gonna have a good time. So take that same attitude and take that same energy and focus it and apply it to if your child comes to somebody's classroom unprepared. Well, the teacher can't fire them, but they can get a bad grade. And it's not the teacher failing them, it's the kid failing themselves because they didn't come to school prepared. But as adults, we can make sure we give our kids what they need. So in this adventurer's backpack, gotta make sure you have your pencils. Gotta make sure you have your paper. Always check your child's book bag before they go to school the next morning. If you don't remember to check it that night before, check it that morning. Make sure they have their homework. The most heartbreaking thing that can happen to a child is leaving their homework on the kitchen counter and they get to school like, oh man, I left my homework. That teacher doesn't know that they did it the night before. So now you have to worry about, oh, is my child gonna get half credit? Are they gonna get any credit at all? They spent like 2 hours on this paper and they left it at home. All right, so make sure your child comes to school prepared. That's one less thing they have to worry about. It gives a kid anxiety when they come to school unprepared because they're shuffling around in the book bag, looking for supplies. They know that's not there. All right, so that's one thing that we have to do is make sure our kids come prepared. Also, keep a set of supplies at home. So that way, if we do send them with all the pencils and all the paper, and then all the pencils and all the paper sprout legs and walk away, and their friend came to school with no supplies. Oh, okay, well, here, you can borrow mine. Knowing good and well they're not going to get it back. And so when they come home, they don't have any pencils to do their homework with. All right, so make sure we keep in the drawer or somewhere in the office space, what have you, more pencils, pens, highlighters, and paper for our kids to have supplies at home as well. And your travel diary. Now, this is for the parents specifically. Every good explorer that I've seen on the Discovery Channel, National Geographic, they always make documents. When you make a documentary, it's a video diary, but it's still documenting what you do, right? So for our parent folder, or our parent notebook rather, this is just a folder, just for an example, but I prefer the 3-ring binders. In your parent folder, you keep all your shot records, all their physical records, different copies of them, copies of your driver's license. You keep their educational documents in here. So if your child has a IEP or a 504 plan, keep that all in your parent folder. All right. If you have more than one child, get you some dividers. All right. But keep everything in one notebook so you're not shuffling around when it's time to either go to a new grade, go to a new school, go from elementary to middle school. Everything's all right there. And if you have multiple copies, especially if your kid is in extracurricular activities, they're going to need their physicals. They're going to need their shot records. So the school's going to need a copy. Team up or the football team is going to need a copy. Everything is right here. All right. In addition to your educational documents and records, remember I mentioned the parent focus account or your child's focus account. Whenever you have to communicate with the teacher, whether that's via email or phone, print it off and keep it in your parent notebook. Keep a running record of when you talk to that school every time you talk. If you can't print anything out, get you a piece of notebook paper. Every time you email, put the date, the time, who you emailed it to, and a brief description of what you emailed about. All right. That way, when it's time for somebody to either return your call or return your email, you won't say, well, oh, what did I call the school for again? I don't even remember because they called me back 2 weeks later. If that's the case, you have to keep a running record. You got to keep, as I like to call, the receipts. All right. And if you're keeping receipts, your child is going to know how to keep the receipts. All right. So when you do call the school, and if you do get the front office and you can't speak to somebody at that time, write down the time, the date that you called, what you called about, and make sure you get that person's name who you talked to. Because the worst thing that can happen is you call the school and say, well, I talked to the lady in the front office and she told me da 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 da. Well, I'm sorry, who did you speak to? Oh, I don't know. It can't really help you if you don't remember who you spoke with. All right. And so when it is time for those parent teacher conferences, or if you have to talk to the principal or the assistant principal, guess what? You got your receipts right in your parent folder. So you don't have to remember who you talked to. You don't have to remember what you talked to them about. It's all right here. All right. So those are your steps for being organized. And if you have questions, I'm going to drop my email in the chat. I hope everybody got something from the presentation, and I hope you can use it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dawson-Jones. I always get something each time to help improve myself, and so we appreciate you. And parents, certainly, as you keep in mind some of the tips that she mentioned to you, want to remind you that your students did get their progress reports a couple of weeks ago. So be sure that you took a look at that progress report. As Ms. Dawson-Jones said, hopefully you are able to navigate your focus. If not, you can let Ms. Perry know, or she'll give you the number to our office. You can call us because we want to do all we can to assist you. You should be able to go into focus now. And if not, you should have seen that progress report. That will give you, that is so important. I'm stressing that because in 2 weeks, they will be finished with this 9 weeks. When you come back in January, when you see that report card, you even if you get a little upset, we're done with that. We are done. They will be finished December 18th when they go home for Christmas. So once again, hopefully you can apply some of these many tips that she gave you, because we want your child to be successful, and that's our main goal. And Ms. Ferris stresses that to you. So thanks again. We're just so excited that you're here with us tonight, because I'm certain that the information that you gain will enable you to help to be successful. So pull out that stop. So at this time, I'm going to present, well, not present, just ask her to come forward once again. And hopefully you signed in, because you will have an opportunity to participate in the drawing for our prizes. We also have online with us another voice that you hear is Miss Kennebrew, Miss Evelyn Kennebrew. She calls you often to remind you about meetings, to talk with you about appointments, and so you always have some contact. So at this time now, be sure that you sign in the chat box. Be sure that we have your name because we're gonna draw for those prizes. We thank you for coming tonight. We're excited. And so, Miss Burney, let's see who's winning tonight.
Okay, and I want to share with Ms. Jones that while you were speaking, I was watching also on YouTube, and there was some lively conversation and going on YouTube. In addition, Ms. Perry, I just informed someone that you will give them more information about the program. So thank you all so much. I just want to make sure that I have everyone. Someone just joined. It has Mr. Crash Out. Can you give us your name so that I can put it in the wheel to see who will be able to win this gift card that we have? Can you go? Can you?
My name is.
I'm sorry. Can you say your name again?
My name is Gangstalicious.
Can you type it in the chat for us?
Yes.
Okay. And then there is someone that has S125-32313. If you could put your name in the chat. I have the individuals whose names were on, who were on the YouTube. I do have your names, but I need to get, once I get those other two, then we can spin the wheel.
And as she prepares to spin the wheel, I do want to stress once again that the I'm a Star Foundation Star Mentor program being coordinated by Ms. Perry is designed to help your child to be successful. So that's what we want to do. And we thank you for the attention that you're paying to your child tonight, because hopefully your child will be successful. Take a look at those grades and give a shout out to Ms. Perry. I'll call that number, that office number that she has given you, and we'll do all we can to assist you.
Okay, just 1 second.
I'll turn on some Kodak.
All right, so let's get ready now to share the screen to spin the wheel. And parents, thank you so very much for being a part of this. And Ms. Victoria Perry, of course, is the person who will definitely be involved with your children and who will be able to provide additional information. So we have the wheel, and we're going to give the wheel a quick spin.
Wow.
Yay!
Yay! All right.
Congratulations, Mariana.
Okay, so Mariana, does Miss Victoria have all of your information? Miss Victoria, do you have Mariana's information?
Yes, ma'am, and I'll give it to her on Friday at our session.
Okay, all right. Thank you, parents, so very much. Are there any questions or comments from anyone?
So can one of y'all order me some Pizza Hut?
I think you have the wrong Zoom.
Okay.
I love this place.
You do? Wonderful. We're so glad that you love it. Thank you so much. All right,
It was
parents.
very fun.
Good, very good, very good. We appreciate that. So you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you all so very much.
Well, there's such a little box. Shit.
Thank you. Have a good night.